Alright, this is our final video covering Cerebral Puzzle Showcase of June 2025. We have one more night plus a few bonus games of puzzles, shuffling, Sokobon, and more. We're starting things off with Ailia. This is a mirror/reflection style puzzle game. You are trying to save your sister from a kind of strange mirror universe, and to do that you must explore and use the power of reflection to get her back. Our puzzle mechanic here is that the mirror will reflect obviously whatever it's showing. This will allow you to create new paths by walking through the mirror or interacting things with your twin sister who's on the other side of the glass. So, the puzzles are all about trying to get from point A to point B, along with bonus challenges collecting special mirror shards. This is going to be one of many games tonight that starts out fairly simple, but can get very challenging, as you can only move or manipulate the mirror in specific angles and directions. It's going to be up to you to figure out how to move it and where you want to place your character in relation to it. Very interesting concept, and one I'm curious to see where else you're going to go with these mechanics. And it is a very easy recommendation for you. We now go to Snowmelt Manor. This is a Sokobon game where you are investigating a strange manor. Why is it deserted? Why is there snow everywhere? And why is everything switch operated? You're going to uncover those mysteries one block at a time. Our kind of take on, or twist on Sokobon, is that snow can be used in different ways for puzzle solving. Push two patches of snow together and they'll form a snow block that can then be used to hit switches or interact with other things. There are snow plows that can destroy snow, and your job is to go through each one of the kind of stages, hit all the switches, and even collect these letters and place them on pedestals for some unknown reason at the time. This one is going to be, I would say, moderate to maybe moderately challenging in terms of the design, at least from what we saw during the demo. There are multiple ways of exploring, and you're free to kind of pick which paths you want to go through to see the bigger picture. Very charming game. I like the pixel art here, and if you're a fan of keeping cool with your Sokobon, then I would give this one a play. We now go to Escape Simulator 2. This is the sequel to the escape room, extravaganza style of puzzle design. But you're not just trapped in any room, you'll be trapped in a variety of strange environments filled with hidden puzzles, lots of interactables, and for me, lots of vases and fragile things to break. Now you can play this one multiplayer, so it's not just you suffering and struggling to solve a puzzle, but you can have some friends along the way. There are bonus things to uncover, and of course a variety of puzzles in each room, or I guess quote-unquote room/area, to find. All in all, this is going to be one of those games you'll either love it or hate it for kind of the escape room shenanigans of trying to figure out where that one clue is that could be hidden in any part or any object or situation in the place. But still a very charming game nonetheless, and definitely one for those of you who are in the mood for a whole lot of puzzles. We now go to Shape Sender Deluxe. This is a physics-style puzzle game, where you, along with this adorable little character, are trying to move shapes from point A to point B using a variety of objects to push, bounce, pull, and other manipulations to get them there. Each level you are given a variety of parts, and you must get these different shapes to their respective exits. Now, the story page hints that there may be more to this one than meets the eye. I found this one to be incredibly charming to play, and the kind of physics-based puzzle solving just really works for me in terms of my own critical thinking skills. There are multiple ways of solving each puzzle. I'm kind of interested to see where things are going to lead in the main game. So if you're looking for some very charming puzzles about physics, I would give this one a play. We now go to City of Voices. This is a kind of wholesome take on the Curse of the Golden Idol formula, and I'm sure there's going to be far less murder to go in this one. You are following the exploits of a young girl who is having some trouble in school when she gets transported back into Mayan times. Will she get back? Will she learn to be more confident and make friends? Well, you're going to have to follow the story to figure that one out. Like Curse of the Golden Isle, you're only given various vignettes, and it's up to you to figure out information to kind of solve the Q&A to move the story along. All the clues are built within the environment, and you'll have to do some critical thinking in order to figure out certain aspects of it. So this one I would say is going to be on the challenging side, even though it is going to be more on the cozier side, as you still need to make references or inferences based on the information, and you can kind of brute force things to some extent, much like Curse. And you can certainly brute force things, much like with Curse of the Golden Idol. Very charming game, and if you are a fan of that kind of, again, like critical thinking style, but looking for a far more cozier take on it, then I would give this one a play. We now go to Vextorial. This is a dimensional and gravity shifting puzzle game. You are in search of your missing brother, and you've come to a place where gravity and kind of the state of the world are in flux. The rules are that you are able to manipulate both the flow of gravity as well as the plane that you're on in like a giant cube at will. When you're in 2D view, whenever you kind of step onto like an empty square, gravity will shift in relation to that direction. You can go into 3D and move yourself around the sides of the cube in order to solve the different puzzles. So yes, this one's going to get very mind-twisty very quickly. And there's going to be a variety of puzzles, of course hidden challenges to go for. Now, there does not appear to be an undo button, so it can be very easy to accidentally mess up a puzzle and have to restart, but the puzzles, at least from the demo, seem like they're on the shorter side. So, if you don't mind a little bit of a twistiness with your puzzles or dimensionalness, then you definitely want to check this one out, and I'm curious to see where it will go in the main game with these mechanics. And now we switch to Bytebond. This is a co-op action puzzle game. When a computer gets invaded by a virus, it's up to 2 antivirus programs to get in there and save the day. Now, an important point to clarify, the footage you're seeing is me playing the game single player. You can control both robots using both analog sticks. There is remote play, there are plans for online co-op, but that is not in the demo that I played. Our puzzle mechanics here will revolve around using your bots to transfer and kind of bounce energy back and forth between them. That is used to activate switches, power up gates, and even used for combat as well. Now, the combat in this game is kept relatively light. When you pass energy from one bot to the other, it kind of creates like this energy beam between the two. So the goal is to get the enemy between both bots and then smack them with the energy blast. It's hard to tell from the demo just how involved movement and puzzle design will be in the main game, but I found this one to be very charming. And I would recommend this if you and a buddy are looking to do some very personal or hands-on computer troubleshooting. And now we switch to Trifoil. This is another kind of pathfinding snake-like style puzzle. You are in a strange world, seems like a computer world, and it's your job to draw the paths necessary to satisfy specific conditions. Each one you complete will then move or open up the path to the next. The game reminds me a little bit of The Witness, in that you're given very late instructions, and it's up to you to figure out exactly what the symbols mean, how they affect your puzzle solving, and then, well, solve said puzzle. The game does a very solid job in terms of onboarding each new symbol and each new rule to then, of course, get very challenging as the paths go on. And I enjoyed this one. This is definitely going to be more on the challenging, moderately challenging side for a puzzle game, much like the other one that we played for yesterday's video. So, if you're a fan of kind of the path tracking, pathfinding style of puzzles, and looking for one to really dig or move your way through, then definitely give this one a play. And now up is Orbyss. This is a kind of action-adventure puzzle game where you play as orbs trying to maintain light in a very strange place. but when evil shadow threatens to destroy it all, we want to put on our puzzling hat spheres and roll around to solve things. The puzzle design here is that each chapter will introduce different mechanics that your orb or orbs will be able to make use of. You can control one orb at any given time, but you have the means to swap between orbs and interact with other orbs that are in the area, such as pulling them along, ordering them to go to a specific place, and additional mechanics that will come as you get further in. I like the art style for this one. Now, it's hard to tell from the demo, will there be like additional things to go after, or will it just be like a straight kind of puzzle to puzzle kind of affair. But a very intriguing game nonetheless, and some of the kind of advanced elements that we saw near the end of the demo do indicate some very twisty puzzle solving for sure. This is another one for fans looking for a more action or rolling take on puzzle design. And now we switch over to how old is James? I don't know, and I'm not quite sure we'll figure that out in this game either. But they're aiming for kind of like a, not sure I want to say narrative, but more like existential 2D puzzle platforming. You're exploring memories, and I'm not quite sure how that involves lots of jumping, wall jumping, and other physics, but maybe that gets explained in the main game. The main element here is that in each level you'll control 3 kind of programs representing the id, the ego, and the superego. Each one has a different kind of movement tech. One can wall jump and double jump. Another one has kind of like the slingshot that they can stick to objects and fling themselves anywhere they want. Another one can manipulate gravity. And it's your job to move through these levels, swapping between the 3, and each one is basically in their own separate part of the level. So it turns into this challenge of moving forward with one to open up a path for the next one, to then go down that one, to then open up a path for another one, and we repeat until someone gets to the very end. Very interesting concept. I did find it a little bit janky in spots, especially with kind of the gravity swapping one. And this is another one like our previous games where it's hard to tell where things are going to go in terms of difficulty. You can play this co-op or single player as well, but still a very intriguing take on a kind of puzzle platformer. So if you're looking for, I guess, a memory-based one, or I guess remembering through jumping, then give this one a try. Now we switch over to a few games I played after the streaming, starting with Cadence. This is a music, I guess, adjacent puzzle game. Your job is to set up beats to kind of interact and get to the little cat at the end of the field in order to make it wake up and I guess start dancing along the way. So this is not a music game in the sense that you need to be good at rhythm and all that in order to figure this one out. Instead, you can use this to kind of make your own music, and there's also, I believe, a level editor to go with it. But the logic here is trying to set up like infinite loops to kind of power up beats, and understanding how the different objects will interact with one another in order to create more beats or create more paths. And I found this one to be interesting. It can be a little bit tricky to learn. Again, you'll need a musical background to play it, but you still need to kind of understand like how the flow of the beats are going to work in relation to getting the actual solution. So if you are musically inclined, or I guess beat inclined, and looking for some puzzle solving to groove to, then give this one a play. And now we go to where the bird is the word with Birdigo. This is a combination of a deck builder with the old PopCap game Bookworm. You are trying to lead birds on a migration, and we're going to have to spell words in order to get them flying. So the basic rules here is that you are trying to spell words, any words, and the better the words or the more letters you use gains you more power. You need to get to the right distance threshold on each stage in order to move things along. You'll gain upgrades in the form of adding new letters to your deck, as well as feathers, which kind of act as your artifacts / passive options. So this is going to be one much like with Bookworm, that if you're not a good speller or you don't have a dictionary on hand, this is probably not going to be the game for you. But still a very charming take on this kind of word builder roguelike. So, if you like birds and words, and like to spell, then you should give this one a play. Now, for our last game of the showcase, my footage cut out so I didn't get a chance to record the play of it, but we have the screenshots from the store page to go, and that is going to be the puzzle maker. I think that's Cebba's Odyssey. The simplest way to describe this game would be if you ever played a tactical strategy or strategy RPG, and they have puzzle missions where you must completely clear all the enemies using a limited number of characters and moves. That's what this game is in a nutshell. Each level you are given a collection of different characters, each with their own movement, attack, health, and special ability. And your mission is to clear out the enemies from the stage given your limited number of moves and actions. It starts off quite simple, just being able to attack and move, but soon you'll be adding additional characters, those that can like heal or recharge other characters, attack from long range, attack from short range, etc., etc. And I like the pixel art style. It reminds me a lot of like the old Fire Emblem games in terms of the look and feel. It's hard to tell from the demo just how much it's going to get in terms of advanced puzzles, but they do start out very easy but get a bit challenging by the end of the demo. Very great concept for a puzzle game. So if you're a fan of, again, any kind of strategy RPG, tactical strategy, that kind of game, and looking for one where it's just all about figuring out the perfect set of orders and commands for your units, then definitely give this one a try. And with that, Cerebral Puzzle Showcase is at long last done. But there's still plenty more showcasing and indie games to get to. You'll find links to all the games down below. What were some of your favorites from this event? Let me know as well. And until your game for a future stream and showcase, please get in touch. But there's still plenty more games to get to. And with that, thanks for tuning in and see everyone in our next showcase. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff. Be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.